Give me that cold, hard cash, baby. Hey guys, Matt Swerk, local real estate expert right here in Massachusetts with the Legacy Star team powered by Keller Williams Realty. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe, click the little bell. Every time I make a video, you're going to get notified. We're giving you everything about Massachusetts. Remember, when it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back. Bing! All right, today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects of real estate investing. This is how my wife and I started in the industry a long time ago, purchasing multifamily properties. We feel that investing in real estate is the best vehicle as far as long-term gains are concerned. So as far as the types of investing here in Massachusetts, very similar strategies as opposed to the rest of the country. You can invest into fix and flipping or rehabbing properties. We like to call it residential redevelopment. You can do buy and hold investments. We typically focus on multifamilies versus single families, where you use those as rental for passive income. You also have lease options, which is owning a property and then kind of financing that to a buyer. That's an interesting concept. And then we also have private lending, where maybe you have a friend or family member or a doctor that you know that has some money on the side that can actually lend money to do some investing as far as real estate. Biggest thing that we always love is OPM, other people's money. Right, we use money as a tool. That's all money is. It's a product, right? We use that to make more money, right? So really, the first thing that I'll start off with, I'll talk about the buy and holds, because that's kind of how we started off, or not kind of, but that's exactly how we started. I identified a couple different areas as far as Massachusetts was concerned. We went right into Boston. We picked Waltham, which is one of the other suburbs. We went on up into the north side of the state into the Lowell area, and then I also pushed us out to Western Mass, North Central Mass. So I did this all current data, just pulling from what was on the market. You can buy a 23-unit building in Boston. It's only $39 million. Seems like a lot. It's got an $800,000 net profit. So pretty interesting, but that's a hefty purchase price. When I talk about investments, I talk about how much it is per unit. So out of those 23 units, when we break that price down, you're paying $409,000 per rental unit. However, you're getting $1,100 in net profit per door. So numbers are pretty interesting. Too much of a purchase price for me, especially if I'm borrowing other people's money, because I got to pay them to borrow that, right? The next area we're going to go is Lowell. Lowell, a lot of people don't know. This city has made a major transformation. Very hot right now for multifamily investing. The average there, you're paying about $191 per unit. Right, so if you multiply that by 3, that's kind of what your asking price is. The net profits are actually pretty good. The average is about a little over $1,000 per door. So that's a great market to invest in. Waltham, huge as far as accessibility, right on the 95 belt. You can get everywhere from there. A lot of people love that. Purchase price a little bit higher than Lowell is. You're looking at about $376,000 per unit. However, you're bringing in about $711 per door. This is all net profit numbers, right? And if I'm going too fast, you don't understand this, definitely leave us a comment. We'll either reach out, we could talk one-on-one. We love this. We're definitely talking more of the investment world and talking about how to make money with money. All right. Then we have North Central Mass, right? North Central Mass, my playground. The world is very different out there. So the purchase price is much less. The net profit is much less. However, because the per unit, we can actually purchase a lot more. Averaging out in that area of Gardner, Leominster, Fitchburg, kind of paint that with a broad stroke, but you're looking at about $120,000 per unit, and you're going to make about $250 per door, right? So you can see the numbers are much less, but the purchase price is a lot less as well. So I could buy multiple buildings out in that area where I might only buy 1 or 2 if I was in some of these other markets. And that's really what we look for. When it comes to investing, we're all about the cash flow. We want to know how much money we're bringing in after all the bills are paid. That's the net cash flow. So love this conversation. We could talk all day, but I'm going fast and furious. We're moving on. The next thing, I love this world, the fix and flip world of residential redevelopment. We don't call ourselves flippers because that's a TV show and a dolphin. We're rehabbers, baby. So as far as the fix and flip world, we're averaging anywhere from a 10 to 14% return, right? What's interesting about flipping here in Massachusetts, we have some people that are in our network that are nationwide, and they can pick up a property for $20,000. Not here, right? Most of our purchase prices, the cheapest thing we ever bought was something that was $45,000. What was in that building definitely deserved a $45,000 price tag. Everything we opened, it just got worse and worse and worse. However, we are experienced in this world and in this area, so we know what to expect. So what does that mean? If you think about some of the homes we have here, we have a lot of houses that were built in the 1900s, right? And it's going to take a decent amount of money to bring that back up to today's standard, right? So just think about some of the non-conforming staircases. We have there's a lot of buildings that have what's called knob and tube wiring, which was a very outdated wiring system. At the time, it was great. However, with all the mass amounts of technology we use and all the amperages it pulls, it's not safe anymore, and it can cost you a decent amount of money to make those upgrades. A 3,000 square foot building that we had purchased in Fitchburg, it was $12,000 to rewire the entire building and then add what's called a landlord panel. So that's not really a flip thing. That was a buy and hold. However, that's something we come across all the time. Another thing is that outside of the city, in some of these other communities, we have what's called septic systems. I had no idea what this was, but that's something we have to think about. And if you don't know about septic systems, put a comment down. We'll inform you about those. However, a septic replacement can range anywhere from $20,000 all the way up to $40,000. So it gets expensive, and that's a good chunk of money that's going to be reinvested. We have a lot of wells, right? So with wells, that also comes a lot of due diligence. We have to test for water quality, flow rate. So those are things that we have to understand as far as those projects are concerned. The age of homes, we also have a lot of what's called horsehair plaster, right? It's not this nice sheetrock where if I punch a hole in it, I can cut it out and then put a patch in there pretty easy. This is plaster that cracks, it sags, it's an absolute mess. So there's a good chunk of money that's involved to take that down and put up sheetrock, do it the right way. We also have a lot of older properties that have asbestos siding as far as shingles, right? We have lead paint in a lot of properties. A lot of the properties, because of the age of the homes, non-conforming as far as today, here in Massachusetts, a lot of people want an open concept. They want a first floor master or a first floor larger bedroom with a larger bath attached to it. So, we're taking a lot of walls out and putting beams in. So there's a lot that goes into it than just kind of this light, if you will, what we call fluff and buff, where you're just making some paint and moving on. Our company specifically averages about $100,000 reinvested back into the properties to bring them up to today's standards. So we love messy projects. Really fun on that. So those are the two big ones we love. There's also lease options. Lease options are actually, a lot of the rehabbers actually will use their properties for a lease option. So they buy the property, they reinvest, put that money back into it, bring the value up, and then they actually sell that to someone. They don't do a straight out purchase. What they do is a lease option. So basically they would take a big chunk up front, almost like a down payment, and then they would, the money that comes in, you have your rent, and then there's a little bit of a cushion over, and that goes towards starting to make a mortgage payment to this private lender, which I'll talk about next. So lease options is definitely something. There's a lot of people, you also hear it called rent to own. There's a lot of people that are really looking for that. So there's a big demand for that, and we haven't got involved with that yet, but we'll see. I'm all about investing in multifamilies. I like having a bunch of units under one roof. Yes, we have to babysit sometimes. However, that's why you get a great property manager. They take the phone calls. It's all hands off, right? That's my big recommendation. If you're going to get into the world of investing, be hands off, right? Don't become a rehabber and you're going to start like knocking with a hammer. I guarantee it's not the best use of your time. It might be fun, not the best use of your time. Okay. Last thing is going to be private lending. Private lending is basically you have companies referred to as hard money lenders. That I don't want to go too deep here because I'll really confuse people. But a private lender is basically, we have a lot of private lenders in our network, right? So I might have to buy the property might cost. We'll use an example that we just purchased a property not too long ago, $410,000. We had to reinvest $120 back into the property. So basically, I don't have a big bag of cash, right? We buy these for cash, but not actual cash. It's just no contingencies. So I have access to people that have money, right? So it could be uncles that are just kind of been sitting on a little bit, anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. Doctors, dentists. We basically sometimes do some pool funding, right? Or we'll get pool funding from other people. However, we also could lend out money as well. The return on being a private lender is 8 to 12%. I don't really think it's the best way. It's super safe because your investment is tied actually to the property, right? So you become the lien holder, and that way, if you have to foreclose on the person that you lent to, you get the property back, and you should get the upgrades back and the money that was reinvested into it. That's a whole nother conversation. Like I said, we don't want to go too deep today. I just want to talk some of the basics as far as what you can expect as far as the buy and hold options, what to expect as far as getting to flips, and some things you may not deal with in other parts of the country. Also, we have basements, right? With basements. I know a lot of the country is built on slabs. We scratch our heads. We don't know what that's all about. Where's the basement, right? Where's the place where it gets wet, right? You need the radon mitigation system. Never mind. And then we just want to talk about lease and private lending. So I could literally be here talking for days and days and days about this. Tyler said, Matt, high overview. He's already shaking his head saying, get off the camera. You're talking too fast, too much. We love this world. That's my story for today. All right, so if you're coming here for a job or you need another way of making some cold, hard cash, we just talked about investing in real estate. You have questions, we have answers. Just reach out, give us a call, whatever you got to do, we'll get back to you. When it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back.